What place is overrated to visit? Now, for the first comment. Plymouth Rock, the only boat small enough to have landed on it would be France. Next comment. As a Plymouth native, the Rock is incredibly underwhelming. However, I do recommend the Plantation. The workers do a great job of recreating 1621. The town has done well revamping the downtown area with shops and food. And the Mayflower too better be back before the 2024 100th celebration or people are going to be pissed. Next comment. When I was in college a couple years ago, my buddies and I thought it would be a great time to go to Times Square on New Year's. To even get inside we had to be there around 9 a.m. this year. Police had the entire square cordoned off and were checking everyone's bag that entered. Once you got into the square you were not allowed to leave. So we had to stand for hours in the square with nothing to do until the festivities actually started. Around 1 p.m. the stores and restaurants closed, which coincidentally meant no more bathrooms. People were going in bottles, holding it, or a couple times I saw them just going in the road. It was a mess. A once-in-a-lifetime mess, but a mess nevertheless. Edited. When I went they were doing several concerts on different stages as well as a huge open area that was just under the building where the ball dropped. When I said you couldn't leave I meant that area under the ball. If you left that area you weren't allowed back into that specific spot. So you basically had to decide whether you wanted to see the performances or be really close to the ball. Next comment. My parents took me to New York before Christmas. It wasn't even New Year's and that place was nuts. It was a Saturday and there was something calling a SantaCon where people dressed like Santa and get drunk. There was a lot of puke by the tree at Rockefeller Center. Next comment. The Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen. It's just so meh and too far away from the city center. Especially if it's freezing outside like the time I visited it. Just get a souvenir or a postcard or something. Copenhagen itself is beautiful though, very highly recommended. Next comment. The New York Stock Exchange. You can't actually go in and see the trading floor. Next comment. Hollywood. The most disappointing garbage and piss-covered place on earth. Next comment. Four Corners. It's hours away from anything notable and there isn't really anything to do there except a picture and buy Native American crafts. Next comment. Bondi Beach in Sydney. Overcrowded. Everything there is way overpriced. Next comment. Definitely Mallorca. I'm German enough. I don't want to hear 90% German on holiday in Spain as well. The quieter, less central parts of Mallorca are gorgeous, especially for snorkeling and diving. But the Playa de Palma, or at least that part, is horrendously German lol. Next comment. Mall of America. It's just a mall with a lot of stuff in it. My opinion would have probably be different if I didn't live in Minnesota. Next comment. If you're ever in Berlin, do all the touristy stuff in one day. Go to the Reichstag and walk to the Brandenburger Tor. Visit the Holocaust Memorial. Then walk to the Alexanderplatz. There's not that much to see, but that city has so much more cool places to visit or to hang out. Especially if you're looking to meet people or not pay much for little value. Next comment. Pisa. Besides the small square with the tower where everyone is taking the same shitty joke pic and guys trying to sell you toys, the rest of the town is pretty shit. You're in Tuscany, go to any small town and you'll enjoy it far more. Next comment. Toyosu Fish Market. The one that replaced Tsukiji as the fish auction central of Tokyo in 2018. You get to watch the auction process, but only if you go early in the morning. And even then, only through small glass windows 2 stories above the auction block. If there are more than a couple dozen other visitors, you will not be able to see anything. As for a Toyosu dining experience, you're better off eating sashimi and sushi literally anywhere else in Tokyo or in Japan. They mark up the prices at Toyosu more than 300%, and claim that these are the original sashimi houses that have been serving fresh fish for generations. Yet the quality is no different than any other restaurant, and the wait times are more than an hour, as each shop only has room to seat about 10 to 15 patrons per shop at a time. Getting to Toyosu also cuts your day in half, as the metro route requires you to go several stops out of the normal junior line for Tokyo, and you will need to walk 5 to 10 minutes at each stop as part of transit. Once at the Toyosu buildings, you will spend even more time walking from the station to the restaurants and auction areas. It is not a convenient place to visit, and not very special. I would cross it off any travel itinerary. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed.